What's up, man? It's your boy DT Capo. Hit that like, sub, comment, share. Shout out to Truth Is. We're gonna go over this video, react to it. It's about the movie Sinners, Michael B. Jordan. My niece told me I should go see it. I'm heavily into all of that shit she know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, told y'all before, my mom was born in Trinidad. You feel me? Magic and all that shit was forced upon her by her grandmother. She was Venezuelan mixed with Trinidadian and something else. Maybe Chinese. I know my grandpa was, but I don't know about her. But yeah, we're gonna go over this video. Hit that like, comment, sub button. Share the video. Tell me what y'all think about this shit in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that notification bell is turned on to all. I said turned to all. Same shit. Y'all get the drift, man. I don't even know if I should keep saying it in my videos. You feel me? But look, bro. We gonna hit this play button and yeah.
Right now, Sinners is trending all over social media. The vampire-themed horror film that was released on Easter weekend has been labeled the best film of the year so far. With an almost perfect Rotten Tomatoes score and praise from critics, it's safe to say this movie is a hit. All over social media, people are excited about this movie, with many calling it exciting and a visual masterpiece. While most of the internet is praising this movie, they are failing to realize the dark message that is hidden in it. What everyone is failing to see is that this movie reveals the truth about the power of music and how it's being used for sinister reasons since the very beginning. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos every other day exposing the truth. In today's episode, we will be breaking down the hidden meaning of the movie Sinners. I want to warn you that there will be spoilers ahead. Let's get right into it. It seems like all people are talking about nowadays is this movie Sinners. For those who don't know, Sinners is a horror adventure film starring Michael B. Jordan. The movie was released during Easter weekend, and it has been well received by critics and viewers alike. Now, I wasn't planning on watching a movie called Sinners, especially after it was released over Resurrection weekend. I felt off the top that this was going to be more blasphemy coming from Hollywood, but you guys were heavily requesting I give my opinion on this movie. People on Patreon, YouTube, and even my own brother text me personally telling me I needed to make a video about this movie. So I decided that although I didn't want to watch it, I must, in order to do my duties. I watched the movie and honestly, in my opinion, I don't think it was a good movie. I felt like the build-up didn't really lead up to anything great. The first half of the movie was Michael B. Jordan hiring people to work at his juke bar. They then dropped the vampire premise right before the climax of the movie, which made it all feel rushed and empty. While the acting was pretty good, I think the story seemed like a bad ripoff of the movie From Dusk Till Dawn. The ending was also rather pointless and left me feeling underwhelmed. It made me think that most of this hype behind this movie is just that, hype. Marketing to get people to watch this expensive movie that cost them about $100 million to produce. Now all of that is besides the point, because I'm not here to review the movie. I'm here to break it down and expose its dark hidden meaning. Now right off the top, the title of the movie is all...
Look at that on his collar, bro. Look at the piece on his collar. Come on, man. It's sun worship, bro. Amen Ra. They worship the devil.
Already revealing. Those behind this movie titled it Sinners and decided it would be best to release this movie over Resurrection weekend. Those watching this channel know that wasn't done by coincidence. This date was strategically chosen with sinister intentions. We know that Hollywood hates Jesus. They make that clear every chance they get. This is why they made an entire movie about the devil's vampires and lost souls, sinners like they called it, and dropped it on Resurrection weekend. So after people were in a church on Resurrection Day, they can go to the movies and watch their idols tell the devil's story. That alone should have kept many people from watching it. But sadly, most people have been desensitized to all of this and think nothing about anything. Hollywood plays an important role in the spiritual battle we're all facing. The movie Sinners proves that. Instead of a movie being released during Resurrection weekend about the resurrection, they made a movie about sin instead. Now, for those who haven't seen the movie, let me give you a quick recap of the movie. The movie stars Michael B. Jordan, who plays two different people in this film. He plays twin brothers Smoke and Stack, two veterans turned gangsters who return to their hometown of Mississippi Delta, where they attempt to open a juke joint with money they acquired from their criminal activities. In the first half of the movie, the two brothers purchase a sawmill from a racist man named Hogwood with the plans of creating it into a juke joint. They then run around town recruiting people to work at that juke joint, recruiting their younger cousin Sammy, who's a blues player, to perform at the joint. They also recruit Smoke's wife Annie, who just so happens to be a hoodoo witch, to be the cook. They also get a field worker to be security, an old drunk to play in the band, an Asian couple to act as suppliers, and an adulterous woman to be the lead singer. At the same time this is going on, a white Irish vampire named Remick makes his appearance after he's running away from vampire hunters. While trying to escape the hunters, he knocks on a couple's door who just so happen to be racist Klansmen. The couple, although reluctant, decided to let him in. He then turns the couple into vampires. Later that night, everyone showed up to the juke joint for the opening night. This is when Sammy started playing his music and unknowingly summoned spirits from the past and the future. These spirits begin to possess those in the room, and they start becoming consumed by the music. This is when sin started to completely take over the juke joint, but the music also summoned the devil, as the music lured the vampires to the juke joint, where the vampire sees a vision of the bar burning down with everyone inside it, while Sammy has everyone in a trance. The vampire becomes interested in Sammy and tries to get inside the juke joint to capture him. The vampire attempted to get inside the place by claiming to be musicians and offering money, but due to the vampires being white, the brothers find it suspicious and refuse their entry. Eventually, one of the brothers' greed gets to them, and he sends his mixed girlfriend that looks white to check the vampires out in order to see if they had enough money to allow them in. When the girlfriend does this, she is turned into a vampire and then gets the doorman to invite her in, where she turns Stack into a vampire. Stack then appears to die, which causes Smoke to panic, and they kick out most of the guests that were in attendance. This is when the rest of the guests all get turned into vampires. This then turns into the final battle, when Bo, the Chinese supplier, gets threatened by the vampires that if she doesn't let them in, they would go after her daughter. She then angrily invites them in, which basically gets everyone killed. At the end, it's only Smoke and Sammy, with Sammy attempting to run away but being caught by the head vampire. He then tells Sammy why he wanted him and how his music was what lured him there, claiming that Sammy had the power to summon spirits with his music. Sammy then smashes the guitar over the vampire's head, and Smoke then stabs him with a stake in the heart. The vampire dies, and just about all the other vampires die as well. This is when Sammy returns to his father's church, and his father urges him to abandon the devil's music. But even after Sammy saw how his music was connected to evil, he still chose music over God. This was basically the whole film, and while it was just another vampire film, there was a lot of truth about the power of music and other occult references in this movie. The vampire obviously represented the devil, and making a deal with the devil, as he promised those in the bar eternal life and freedom if they chose him and let him turn them. He was a literal representation of the devil. They also show how much spiritual power music has and its close connection to sin, how it could be used against us spiritually. First thing I noticed was the incorporation of the 7 deadly sins. Each character portrayed one or several of the deadly sins. For example, like the two brothers, Smoke was a representation of pride, with Stack being a representation of greed, which is what sealed their fate in the end of the movie, as Stack's greed is what led him to send his girlfriend to see if the vampires had good money to spend at his bar, which ended up getting him killed, as that's what led to her getting bitten, and then he got bitten by her. Each character played off these 7 deadly sins, and it's why in the movie they came face to face with the devil, clearly indicating this movie is much more spiritual than it appears on the surface level, just like we see from the entire music aspect of this film. In the film, Sammy is seen to have this supernatural power to play guitar. When he plays the guitar, he taps into a spiritual world and summons spirits through his music. These spirits then influence the audience and possesses them, putting them in a trance. This is what causes everything to go downhill, his musical power. Firstly, this all seems to be a reference to the story of the Mississippi Delta blues legend Robert Johnson.
Yep, he was at the crossroad, man. I was waiting for him to say that, bro. I was waiting for him to say that, man. he still got that one song that nobody can play. And they said it's so hard to play, it's like you need an extra hand or two. Man.
Who sold his soul on the crossroads for endless fame and riches. Many of you should already know the story of Robert Johnson. He wanted to be a blues player so bad he went to the middle of the crossroads to make a deal with the devil. He gave the devil his eternal soul. In exchange, the devil granted him supernatural power over music. Robert then became a local celebrity and a legend, and was known to put his audience in a trance with his supernatural guitar abilities. Now think about it, Sammy is a blues artist from the Mississippi Delta area. His music, just like it was stated Robert Johnson's music was magical and had the ability to put people in a trance. This movie illustrated the real spiritual power of music, something that is obvious as the music industry doesn't hide its admiration for the
So Triple X was saying, Triple X Tentacion, rest in peace. That's what he was saying, man. He could put people in a trance. He could make people astral project and everything with his music. Shit crazy.
devil. It is believed by many that Lucifer was the head of the choir in heaven and had supernatural musical abilities. So it makes sense that Lucifer ended up being the power of the music industry. In the movie, they showed the spirit behind music and how it's the same wicked spirit from the very beginning of music living through all genres. As when Sammy summons the spirit when he was performing, we see that these spirits are the same spirits from the beginning of music to modern day music. We see the roots of today's music going back to the African roots, becoming blues, turning into rock music, and evolving into hip hop. Throughout all those genres, the spirit of the music remained the same. The same spirit is still living inside of the music to this very day, the spirit of sin. The movie was showing a reference on how the music not only feeds on sin, but is used to lure people into sin. This is why most music nowadays is solely focused on glorifying sin. The movie showed us how Sammy was basically channeling spirits in order to play as good as he does. This is actually a real life practice called spirit channeling, something many artists do, along with something they call automatic writing. For those that don't know, automatic writing is a psychic ability where a person writes words of a song without consciously doing it, claiming that they were completely guided by spirits and the spirits used them to write the song. Actors also do this and they call it spirit channeling. This is something that Michael B. Jordan admitted to practicing for his acting, claiming to open himself up to the spirits to be used for his performance.
Yeah, same as Damsel Idris Damsel, whatever his name is, that played Franklin.
I would pray to him. You know, I would channel his energy. I would just ask to be around.
You know, I would pray to him. You know, I would channel his energy.
What did you feel it the most?
Honestly, it was when it was on the platform. And we're going to use it while the train wasn't running. Yeah. And tons of extras, limited takes, one camera. But that's where his presence was around me the most. I think at the platform for sure. And it was it's that weird eerie feeling, but it was a good feeling. You know, I don't think I could have done it without him.
It was a good feeling. You know, I don't think I could have done it without him.
Being there.
Him, Oscar.
Yeah.
The energy of Oscar.
The energy, his presence, for sure.
Yeah.
I have a process. I'm not like one of these, you know, some people have methods or this or that. I just did whatever I felt I needed to do or whatever I felt was right in the moment, each step of the way. So it was no real plan. I didn't have an escape plan either. So like every day was just going into this place and I just tried to stay there as long as I could. And then when it was all over, I think just being in that kind of that mind state, that real unapologetic, you know, just real like, you know, whatever all the time, kind of kept it caught up with me and like I got a little depressed. It was tough for me for a minute, you know, just readjusting to being around the people that care about me, getting that love that I shut out for a long time. Like I shut out love. I didn't want love and affection. I wanted to be in this lonely place as long as I could and kind of capture the essence of what Eric, you know, Stevens was, what Killmonger was. So when we wrapped the film, you know, I'm like in my mind, it's like, okay, cool, go back to, you know, regular life, get back to LA, it'd be cool. But it was a little tough for me at first to kind of like accept.
It was hard just to lay him down and be done with it.
Yeah.
How did it take you a while?
It took me, you know, I mean, I don't really know exactly when I came out of it, but you know, I went to therapy, you know what I'm saying? I started talking to people, started unpacking a little bit. And you know, like,
I find that so interesting. I find that so interesting because I think the body doesn't know the difference. I remember having this conversation with a famous actor once about Anthony Hopkins. I would say, Anthony Hopkins, I feel for you because, you know, all the stuff you're taking in.
This movie was clearly depicting this as well, as Sammy was channeling these spirits who ended up overtaking him and the crowd, showing that these artists with this out-of-world talent are actually channeling spirits from outside of this world. This is why when Sammy is shown at the beginning of the movie, which is really the end, his pastor father sees the devil within him, because the spirit that had overtaken him and granted him this magical ability was Lucifer himself. This part of the movie reminded me of the Kendrick Lamar song Reincarnated, as in the song, Kendrick claims to be a reincarnation of the devil himself, who has been reincarnating himself as famous artists throughout the years. At the end of the song, Kendrick reveals that he himself is the devil. He raps in the last verse, "My present life is Kendrick Lamar, a rapper looking at the lyrics to keep you in awe. The only factor I respected was raising the bar. My instincts send material straight to the charts. My father kicked me out the house. I finally forgive him. I'm old enough to understand the way I was living. Ego and pride had me looking at him with resentment. I close my eyes, hoping I don't come off as contentious. I'm yelling, Father, did I finally get it right? Everything I did was selfless. I spoke freely when the people needed me. I helped them. I didn't gloat, even told them no when the vultures came. You fell out of heaven cause you was anxious. Didn't like authority, only searched to be heinous. Isaiah 14 was the only thing that was prevalent. My greatest music director was you. It was colors, it was pinks, it was red, it was blues. It was harmony and motion. I sent you down to earth cause you was broken. Rehabilitation, not psychosis. But now we're here now. Centuries you manipulated man with music. Embodied you as a superstar to see how you moving. You came a long way from garnishing evilish views. All I ever wanted from you was love and approval. I learned a lot. No more putting these people in fear. The more that world is diminished, the more it's not real. The more light that I can capture, the more I can feel. I'm using words for inspiration as an idea. So you can promise that you won't take your gifts for granted? I promise that I'll use my gifts to bring understanding. For every man, woman, and child, how much can you vow? I vow my life just to live one in harmony now. You crushed a lot of people keeping their thoughts in captivity, and I'm ashamed that I ever created that enemy. Then let's rejoice where we're at. I rewrote the devil's story just to take our power back. Carnated. This is essentially what this movie was revealing. The hidden spiritual power of music. It's more than just dancing and fun. It is spiritually created to consume the soul and guide away from God. This is why sometimes music affects people's mood and thought process. It is a powerful spiritual weapon which was once used to praise God in heaven and that is now used to manipulate God's people. Another thing this movie does is glorify witchcraft. In the movie, there's a scene between Smoke and Annie where the audience discovers Annie is a hoodoo witch. Annie then reveals to Smoke that the reason he was unharmed while he was in Chicago was because of the hoodoo magic charm she had made for him. At the end of the movie, Smoke actually ends up getting killed after he removes the magic hoodoo charm, proving that it was the magic keeping him alive the whole time. The movie paints hoodoo witchcraft as the good magic that saved the brothers and helped them combat the vampires. They wanted to make sure to paint hoodoo as good magic, as Hollywood loves pushing the occult onto the viewers. Most people don't believe in magic being real, but those behind this movie do, as the actress Wunmi Masako revealed during an interview that they actually hired a real hoodoo priest to consult on this movie. This hoodoo priest was on set making sure they presented this hoodoo magic as realistic as possible.
Because your character, Annie, I just feel like she, I don't know, the way that she's the healer of the group. Could you talk a little bit about exactly what he told you as far as like what, you know, sort of like indigenous and African and, you know, former slave rituals that he was borrowing from when he sort of like crafted the mythology of your character?
Hoodoo is a real practice, and we had a hoodoo consultant, and I spoke to hoodoo priestesses. You know, so it is very much grounded and real and practiced, and I think he's really treated it with as much respect and honor as possible, because I do feel like the Western world media has kind of shown us like a really dark side of voodoo, and I didn't know it was such a healing, loving, spiritual, connected practice. I feel so empowered and inspired by the people I've met in my research. So yeah, she's very real, and that practice is very real, I guess.
As you heard for yourself, they made sure to incorporate a real hoodoo priest so they can get as real to the magic as possible. This movie was showing real instances of hoodoo magic that people watched on Resurrection Weekend. Some people even watching it on Resurrection Day, the very day we're supposed to be celebrating and honoring Christ's sacrifice for our sins. This movie was nothing but more occult propaganda for the masses. And honestly, The movie is getting way more praise than it deserves because the machine wants this movie pushed. They want you to see the movie not only for them to make money, but for the very dark spiritual reason, as they love to hide the truth in plain sight and further desensitize the masses to these occult concepts. If you haven't seen this movie, I honestly don't recommend watching it, as it not only glorifies evil and sin, but it just isn't as good as they're trying to convince you it is. All of this social media created hype is paid for, just to get you to go to the movies and watch it. Most people are going to say it's good simply because others are. That's exactly what these executives are hoping for. More people walking into movie theaters to watch this occult propaganda. Honestly, don't fall for the hype. There is better ways to spend 2 hours of your time. Our soul isn't something to play with. We have to remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. We must also remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Well, that's it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, man. Shout out to True Fizz, man. Y'all hit that like, comment. Y'all hit that like, hit the sub button. Y'all leave a comment. Tell me what y'all think about the movie. Did y'all go see the movie? Y'all think I should go see the movie? I said I was going to go see the movie at the beginning, but now I don't even know. Because it's like, I mean, my mind's strong enough, you know what I'm saying, to fight against that and all of that. But yeah, it's like, yo, man. I feel like I still want to see it, though. But y'all let me know in the comments, bro. Y'all let me know in the comments. Man, I'm out.